Listen carefully. Before you scroll away, you need to pay attention to what's happening with Opendoor right now. Most people won't notice it, most people will ignore it, and most people will regret it later. But you don't have to be one of them. Something unusual is going on in the background. The stock is barely moving, the volume is collapsing, institutions are acting strangely, and the overall market is reacting in a way that doesn't match the surface-level data. And trust me, whenever things get quiet like this, it's usually the calm before something big happens. So stay with me. The next few minutes could give you clarity that most traders are missing today. And if you appreciate real analysis instead of hype, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. All right, let's break down exactly what's happening with Opendoor today. The stock is slightly down, about 0.57%. We saw a low of 692 and a high of 705. But what really stands out is the extremely low volume, around 10.5 million shares traded compared to the usual 121 million average. That's a massive drop in activity for a stock that typically depends on momentum. There's no major news today, no SEC filings, nothing meaningful on social media except some back-and-forth arguments involving Keith and a few others like George. Entertaining, sure, but irrelevant for the stock. The real reason for today's movement has nothing to do with Opendoor itself. It's the overall market digesting new economic data. What's interesting is that a lot of the stocks on my watch list turned green today, but Opendoor remained weak or suppressed. And that's because the market is reacting to a wave of data that's creating uncertainty. The ADP employment numbers came in much stronger than expected, plus 4,700 compared to last week's negative 13,000. Normally, that's great news for the economy, but the problem is the market doesn't want great news right now. The market wants weaker data, so the Fed has a reason to cut interest rates. Strong data makes the Fed hesitate. And with tomorrow's big interest rate decision coming up, every piece of data is being closely watched. Even with today's numbers, the market is still pricing in an 87.4% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut. Then we also got JOLTS numbers for both September and October, and both came in very strong. That pretty much destroys the narrative that consumers are struggling as badly as some analysts claim. So the economy looks healthier than expected, but that's not what rate-sensitive stocks like Opendoor want to hear right now. That's why the stock isn't moving like others in the market today. Now let's talk about short interest. Shorts increased by around 52,000 shares. About 13.6% of the free float is currently shorted, which is around 106.5 million shares. And yes, that number is still higher than the official shares on loan, which does raise questions about manipulation or even naked shorting. I explained this in yesterday's video, and it's still happening. But what's also interesting is that shorts aren't attacking aggressively today. They're in waiting mode. They want confirmation. They want direction. And they're watching the Fed. The options market adds another layer. Today we saw $1.3 million worth of calls and $1.1 million worth of puts. About 42% of all options traded today were bullish. Bullish traders expect an 8+ move. Bears are expecting below 650. So yes, there is downside risk, but the frequency of bullish activity is clearly higher. Institutional activity today was small. Only 4 large trades over $100,000, but 3 of those were buys. Now normally you'd expect that to push the stock up, but Opendoor is heavily influenced by algorithmic trading. That means the price can stay red even when institutions are quietly accumulating. That's been a recurring pattern with this stock. Big money buys, but the chart doesn't reflect it immediately. Now let's look at dark pool activity. This is where things get interesting. A lot of hold prints showed up today, which is typical behavior from hedge funds. Hedge funds are definitely active in Opendoor, and since shorts aren't pushing heavily right now, a lot of today's hidden activity is likely hedge fund-related positioning. If any major news breaks later today, I'll post a PM update video. If you want that, let me know in the comments. As for the price levels, Opendoor is currently trading around $7.04, sitting between its pivot point and the S1 support, The $6.92 level is proving to be very strong support, and it was the lowest point of today. If you're dollar cost averaging, that's a level you should keep an eye on. On the upside, the next resistance levels are 7.25 cents and then 7.59. If the Fed cuts 25 basis points tomorrow and Powell hints at more cuts in January, the broader market could surge, and rate-sensitive stocks like Opendoor could finally get the push they've been waiting for. Technically, the stock is neutral. The stochastic RSI is around 58, neither oversold nor overbought. Opendoor is stuck between the 10-day and 100-day moving averages. That means it's simply waiting for a catalyst. Sellers are more aggressive than buyers right now, which is why breaking above $8 will not be easy without a strong trigger. The stock even had an opportunity around December 4th to break over the 50-day moving average, but it didn't. That missed breakout is part of why we're in consolidation mode now. Another important factor is management communication. When the new leadership came in, they talked a lot about innovation, AI, and new models, and the market loved it. But lately, there haven't been many updates. And when momentum stocks go quiet, algorithms take over and price movement becomes choppy or flat. But if you believe in Opendoor long-term, options might offer a bigger opportunity than shares. If you think Opendoor can hit $8, which is only about a 12% move, certain long-dated call options could return over 100% by December 19th. That's the power of leverage. So let me know what you think. Are you bullish, bearish, waiting, loading up? Do you think Opendoor is being artificially suppressed, or is this normal consolidation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And just before wrapping this up, Opendoor actually started turning green near the end of this script. That might mean institutions are slowly stepping in. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, leave your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next update. Disclaimer: this video is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing in this script or video is financial advice. Always do your own research or consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions.